spoiler warning if you are not aware of what you get after completing all achievements. So we'll stay here for about another 5 seconds. Yeah, before we move on. So yeah, I have everything unlocked, so if you don't want to see what's happening, I suggest you play World of Horror yourself if you haven't already bought it already. Otherwise, we're about to get this started, and there's no turning back after this. So, without further ado, there are bug fixes and whatnot that are happening. So although I would like to play Zektast seems to be the reason why I'm taking more stamina damage, so we'll skip to Azal. If not, well, we'll still find out. So, without further ado, I mean, not that I would want to play Kana on Zektast because of how abysmal Kana's stats become, but hey, we'll deal with it. So, I'll talk about other stuff as I get through. Strength, Dexterity, Second Mystery, Knowledge, Second Encounter, and maybe Takushi-san. Because yeah, I'm gonna try to do 2 videos per day, one with more regular, usually Harbinger playthroughs, and the other being kind of, you know, guiding people into World of Horror, or at least letting people know what I know, so that we can all get caught up. Some people are starting from scratch, a lot of people are starting from scratch, because the game is in 1.0, and it's being updated. We'll see if it updates again in the next 16 or 20 hours, but until then, yeah, we're here. I should also look for a rumor. Because I'm Kana, Kana does not have any character-specific perks. So, for those new to this channel, I mostly go over gameplay. Not exactly balance, I will talk about that if need be, but more kind of theory crafting as to try and optimize and be efficient, but I also have fun just doing whatever the heck I want sometimes. I did grab the fund, right? I have 5 funds, yeah. So, away we go. Akamoto, Hell, Sailors, Mermaids, and Teacher. I can tell based on the icons, but I should really... I was about to hit reroll. I shouldn't hit reroll. I could hit reroll, but I'm not going to. Ew. I see like 3 bosses, though. That being said, I have toyed around with clean saves, also for making videos on what I may do in the next few days, but... I think I'm going to do Teacher first, funny enough. 2% Doom increase for each fund, and I have 5, so yeah, thanks for telling me. I'm well aware of what's going to happen, but... yeah, a lot of things that are going to be bug fixed. Let's see if it comes to a certain other platform. If you have World of Horror on Steam, then you can opt into the beta versions, which will fix things. Certain things, but not everything. So, yeah. I want to reroll. I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to reroll, actually. That's better, but, eh. I mean, we're not on random item statistics, so it's not like I get much more. Heavy-duty flashlight's pretty much the second best thing you can get. So what I was saying, High School, Max Seaside, Max Forest, what did we have again? Mermaids... Akamoto. So just listing those 2 mysteries off alone. Someone, and I am going to make a video on Battle First. That's probably going to be like 102 and not 101, funny enough. But, yeah, because I'm not going to talk about it in that video coming out, assumably 12 hours-ish from now, when I'm recording this, but... so battles, I mean, you can treat battles as a separate thing, but... as you learn more about the game, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't immerse yourself, you know, exploring the game and what's new to you, but as I try to do my best in this battle, I look at battles as part of a whole, so kind of like looking at the war, not just the battle, because what you do in certain battles may be influenced and can influence, and vice versa will influence what happens later. Mainly in terms of what mysteries you have next, so me fighting this Gossip Junkie, I'm not really thinking too much at the moment. But if this Gossip Junkie were a bit more troublesome, or if this were on the 3rd or 4th mystery, I might need to think based on whatever mystery is coming next. This is a more standard run. And by a standard run, I mean I have more access to the town. Nothing really strange is happening. Like, I'm not going to be stuck in a mansion. I'm not going to be stuck in a forest. But if I were, or even things like that, even events, depending on how serious they are, like that, will determine whether or not I make certain decisions in my playthrough. And this, again, extends to battles as well, where I may take risk in battles because I know that if I get stuck in a certain mystery, I need as many resources as I can get. Usually for battles, it's HP or Doom. Otherwise, again, the flip side of that is I get into a battle after a bad mystery, and then I need to take a risk, otherwise I just end up dying. Or I foresee myself dying. Again, there's a lot that can go into your decision making, but you can also just plow through the game without thinking too hard. If you want to be at the mercy of RNG, if you don't really, if you want to stick by your strats or you're confident in your strats, whether you like dodging, whether you like escaping from more often than not. I play on Harbinger, so these decisions kind of do matter a lot more, but at the same time, yeah, you can also choose not to. So, I should have eaten these painkillers earlier, but I think I'm going to save them just in case anything really strange happens. And I think I should have my sensor ready, because we are doing teacher, and I do have it. Yeah. Again, I don't think anything bad will happen. I'm just playing it very safe like some other people are. Yeah, and that's all I really need to say about that. Can I one-shot this with the power of Desperate Action? So with Kana, Kana gets to Desperate Struggle a lot more often because of the low thresholds that Kana has for max stamina reason. And when you quote-unquote die on one or the other, chances are, like I am, you may be in a situation where you could just Desperate Struggle immediately. And so again, even just kind of a sneak preview in terms of like a battle video or talking about battle, or strategies anyway. Yeah, I could do this. This is 75%. I need to hit a 75% attack and a 65% attack. But if I hit both of these, I get out in one turn and I take no damage. Otherwise, I could do this, but then I have to at least take damage, either 2 stamina, or I go for a brace here, and then throw out an attack here, but that's 65%. So, again, you have some options as to what to do. A lot of them are dictated by RNG, but ultimately you have the decision in terms of what kind of risks you want to take, and when you want to take them. So, and I find that can be an interesting part of World of Horror. Obviously, if you're trying to speed through the game, or you want to be really safe, your strategy might be set in stone as I proceed to censor this. But yeah, and in this boss in particular, if you're trying to be efficient anyway, brace into school and to attack the teacher. But I'm off by 5 time units, so I'm stuck doing this, and I have to eat 3 doom usually. You can hurt this boss. It might be called a bug, but throwing items, I think, is within the bounds of what I can do. So what I could do is throw this bottle of water, and I think I might, in the interest of my doom. That way I can get out there. But again, whether that's a bug or not, we can do it right now. So that's something I wouldn't really put against anyone, and therefore I would do it for. Again, I usually wouldn't do things myself that I wouldn't do things that I wouldn't want others to do in terms of like strat specific things like that. I also think, was that my second encounter, by the way? I guess we're gonna find out. I think I still have a black screen on board, but I'll fix it now. And yeah, as I said, Kana only has access to the general perks. Yeah, and I didn't get Outdoorsman, but here we are. I could also heal Reason, but I'm gonna take a risk because Kana needs the strength, in my opinion. So, yeah. I mean, I take strength normally, so that's not really a Kana-specific thing, but to kind of go off tangent for a bit, and think at least, because I'm gonna think here anyway, there is kind of a set mystery order, so you're never usually putting yourself in a situation where you're fighting a boss and then you have to worry about the mysteries afterward, but those situations can still arise, even if you try to do strats like, again, for me, I like to take boss mysteries before the 4th mystery, because if you didn't know, after the 3rd mystery, all enemies' damage increases by 1. So on Harbinger, damage already is increased by 1. That means another point of damage is going to hit my face for enemies in the 4th and 5th mystery. So yeah, and then I don't often like ending in mysteries like Household Hell, because I don't like being stuck in a location where I can't rest or anything, but if I have to, I have to. Because when you unlock everything and you have all of the mysteries available, turns out you have a lot more boss encounters that you might need to be worried about. Because yeah, as I wanted to say earlier, I was playing with a clean save just to, you know, when I'm making certain recording, because I want to be friendly towards new players as well when I'm making videos that talk about the game. And so I found out how much, or how not easy, but how much better of a time you can have with mysteries at the very beginning of your game. Now, once you unlock mysteries, and if you have enabled them through the by selecting them, as long as you're basically playing the game somewhat by default, yeah, you will get a lot more boss mysteries. Unfortunately, I don't hit a thing, but I don't think I have much of a choice. So I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna see what happens. So yeah, I get bonus damage, so I get to do this. This does 7 damage instead of 6. And we'll move on. There's something else I wanted to say. I forgot. Maybe I'll remember it. But again, there's a lot I could talk about. Maybe some of it is just me being really not paranoid, but I can't think of the word right now as I'm going through the game. But yeah, or maybe some of it is redundant. I will say that, because again, I'm repeating things just in case people are new to the video. But oftentimes, if nothing else, I'm saying what I'm doing out loud, or why I'm doing what I'm doing in game out loud. That way, you can kind of get to pick my brain, because as the hundreds of videos I've done on World of Horror in early access have shown before update 1.0, yeah, I've made a lot of human error mistakes. And that is how you'll die a lot of the time in World of Horror, is human error mistakes. It's not that often that you'll actually die to RNG, but it will happen more. It's not rare to die to RNG either. That's just the nature of what World of Horror is. I should also drink this soft drink now. Might as well, to avoid the doom increase however I can. But as we have quick thinking and do this, we will continue moving on. Am I going to be happy with this? Is there anything else I want to do? Not right now, so away we go. Okay, so what I could talk about, as I remember right now, is that Kana specifically, there is kind of a an infinite that Kana has, and that mainly has to do with spells that cost essentially max stamina and or reason, and then grant its effects. These main examples, for those who don't know, are spells like Flesh Regrowth, which decrease your max stamina by 2, but recover stamina by 3. And obviously, if you're wondering what happens with Kana's max stamina and max reason take priority is the best way I can put it. But basically, it tries to fix your max stamina, and then Kana's effect fixes it back to 8. Or sets it back to 8, in more technical terms. The same thing happens with Mind Drain, which, if you have Mind Drain, you pretty much get the golden ticket. Or not the most golden ticket, but every encounter will die, because Mind Drain, max reason decreases by 1, but then you deal 5 damage, right? 5 or 6 damage. Basically, you deal damage, and obviously, since Kana sets your reason back to their max reason back to 8, yeah, you get infinite damage, essentially. I'm sure that's going to be patched. I mean, it's fun to do, but obviously, balance-wise, it's not as fun, because you just curb stomp everything. And that's not just those 2 spells. There are, I think, a few other things that happen. Of course, there are things like rings. If you didn't know, there are slot C items that are rings that decrease mainly your max reason and then grant you an increase of a stat. But that can't be spammed, as opposed to the developer may or may not, depending on what they do. But one thing they might do is add a specific doom clause to Kana using those spells or things like that. But again, that really depends. I could try to handcuff this encounter. Do I want to? What else? Because we have, don't we have Akamanto as well? We do. But I'm already fighting this, so, I mean, I guess I should. I'm going to die once. So I'll take 5 Doom damage. Again, if you're looking at just the numbers, my Doom is pretty much just going to increase by 5 as well. So that is the cost I'm taking for fighting this encounter, but I could have just avoided this as well. You topple a lamp, but you get burns, or you can force the manhole open, but I don't have an actual tool. Tools being either the monkey wrench or the crowbar. I think do it in 2 turns. And if you're on Timeline B, you can also avoid this boss entirely for Doom, but neither of those none of these things are happening in this run, so here I am. But yeah, again, a lot of things to talk about, some of them redundant, but and again, it's good to get at least the information flowing, if for no one else than myself, right? So, yeah. So at this point in time, this only does 12, 13 if I had bonus damage. Even then, I obviously wouldn't do it. I couldn't defeat the Mad Janitor. I could have equipped the box cutters. Meta-wise, the box cutters should be used on a boss, but if you need a high damage item immediately for whatever reason, equip the box cutters. They will break, but that's box cutters. So we do pretty much a near 60% chance. I guess I might as well, and we'll see what happens. We do get that, and the Fire Axe, I think, is actually still not as great, but if I'm doing only 1 swing anyway... Yeah, because I'm not planning to increase my knowledge, But the more important part is whether I can brace an attack with a Fire Axe right now. I don't think I can. So, 48... 117 it would cost to brace right now, plus the axe. 117 plus 82. I barely get to attack with this, but my accuracy is absolutely not great. I mean, the heavy duty flashlight isn't that much better, but obviously because my attacks are faster with the heavy duty flashlight, I can add in attack boosts and or prep attack. Much more easily if I do certain things, but we'll see. And again, I do have the box cutters, I have to remember about that, but that will depend on my focus. So, we're going to take Akamanto now, because otherwise Akamanto is going to be doing -4 damage on the 4th mystery onward. Right now, Akamanto is doing 3 damage, 3 all damage, and on non-Harbinger difficulties, from the 3rd mystery or earlier, he does 2, but since we're not doing ending A, we're also taking stamina damage. The flip side of this is that since we're Kana, we don't have to worry about the huge stamina damage we take before the non-ending A fight. But Doom will increase by 5 as a result. So, here we are in the glued corpse. I don't think I get anything good off of this. I might even just want to throw the Fire Axe. I think I am, because then I can go for a desperate struggle play. I could have sold the Fire Axe for funds. Normally I do so because I like using or getting cigarettes from the vending machine sublocation, but we're rolling on a 72% chance because I did a 90 into an 80, and together that's a 72% chance to hit both of them, if I'm not mistaken. So again, working with numbers, if nothing else, you can kind of think of that as how, not the meta, but your how you strategize in World of War, because you are literally working with numbers. On an off tangent, though, that does make anyone who wants to play World of War as a TRPG, a table RPG, it puts them in an interesting situation, because you can kind of be fluid with how, because you have the base skeleton of the game here available, and if you wanted to play it with friends, then you could do so. So, yeah, we'll go knowledge. I could heal stamina. We're just gonna keep playing on stats. Again, playing around with Kana, seeing what stats I want to employ and when. I'm not always going to be increasing stats or healing stamina and reason, depending, but it would depend on the situation as well. Because obviously, if I'm on Zektast, stat increases might be a higher priority. But if I am on anything else, and I know I need to use certain weapons or something, I might build into stats. But, anywho. That being said, if nothing else, I am a bit biased towards increasing strength, because Strength, again, to me is more valuable on Harbinger, because when increases in damage happen, normally up to 3, bracing becomes more useful. But even then, so since theoretically, say I could brace into a heavy attack here, that would put the Time Warper at 16 HP, and then next turn I could go for a risky Desperate Action double attack play, which I think here is guaranteed. Yeah, so here it would be guaranteed. So it would behoove me to, or it would be in my interest to go for a brace. But unfortunately, I don't get enough damage unless I throw something. Probably the Ritual Mask, actually, now that I think of it. So, yeah, the Ritual Mask does 2 damage. Again, knowing all this information, while it seems like some people might say, well, oh man, I don't want to get spoiled on the game and such not. When you really dig deep, there are layers of the game that is still there to engage, to be engaging. However, whether or not it's engaging to you as a player, you, the viewer watching this right now, again, I can't speak for you. I can only speak for myself. So, yeah, at the same time, I can see how some people might find it fun, others might not, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. But if you still want to be immersive, and you still want to... If you're looking for actually, like, the meat and not basically fighting the unknown, all you need to do is either make custom content yourself, or have someone make custom content for you, or wait for people to make more custom content, because then you won't know. I have ideas, so I know I talked about... how events in this game are not random, and that is true to an extent. But you can be creative with that, and I won't say what it is, what I'm thinking of, but some of you can probably intuit based on the system of, or how World of Horror works. Again, once you understand the game's mechanics and whatnot, you can kind of play around with the custom content and basically have fun with the game itself. So, again, a $20 price tag is... it's a lot better than you think, and a lot of that is because the developer actually added mod support. So, well, obviously you need to work through it yourself, but hey, I can handcuff immediately. I was just talking, so I kind of distracted myself, but that's a me problem and not anyone else's problem. So, yeah. Handcuffs are very, very useful in Harbinger, by the way, if that wasn't already apparent. I know, again, I talked about things in the tips video that do not apply as much in non-Harbinger difficulties, but they can still be applied to easier difficulties, which is why I used the tips I did. Things like the Lighthouse Sigils and much more easy. And the freebies is something I thought about not entering, but I might as well throw in something that is... easier to think about, as I have a lot of... my doom is very low right now, but I also happen to be kind of skirting the rules. I am kind of subconscious of Ezal rules, because those will add up if you allow it to, because there's a background called Ill-Fated, for those who don't know, or not Ill-Fated, Knight Errant, and Knight Errant or Ezal can definitely be worse than Knight Errant, but that's what makes those two gods different, or Ezal different from the backstory. And if you have both of them together, that becomes a very Doom-intensive run, in my opinion. So, is there anything else I want to do? 7 strength? Oof. Oof. Ugh, rolling a 12. Plus 2 modifier as well. But, anywho. Let me just take it. Yeah. So, Doomed is -2. Low is -1. Is high... yeah, is high minus... Oh, no, I think I set the... Yeah, I set it to school. I should have actually set it somewhere else. What's my last... Oh, this is... No, it's not my last mystery. What is my last mystery, then? I'm going crazy. Anywho, we're gonna find out, I guess. But, yeah, I was gonna talk about something I completely forgot. Maybe I was talking about something and I forgot. Again, if I forget to talk about something that you're interested in me hearing about, then please remind me in the comment section, and I'll try to get to it. Otherwise, again, more than a few people have asked me about battle strategies and whatnot by now, so, yeah. That being said, Ghost Encounters, I'm probably not gonna go over it as lengthy until I actually make a video, more focused videos, but Ghost Encounters are, you can, on easier difficulties, you can do whatever you want. Again, here we have the Harbinger damage increase on top of the 4th mystery scaling damage increase, so Rubu Ghost is doing a heck of a lot of damage, but on easier difficulties, even though Room of Ghosts is doing -1 all, you can flowchart the Ghost Ritual. It's just that it's more efficient to flowchart the Ghost Ritual against ghost encounters that deal 1 stamina and or 1 reason. And if it's 1 doom, that would be also just as good, if not better. But 1, it depends on your situation, and 2, yeah, it really depends. Again, it depends on your mystery, it depends on your situation. Because again, like I said, if you have Azal and Knight Errant, you want to be more... It's more likely that your doom is gonna increase up through the roof. But, yeah. So, what do we do now? Outdoorsman, I might as well. I mean, not like these other 2. Art Knowledge is used in an event, and that's something to talk about. To those who know the term blue checks, but there are perks that can be required for events, and currently leadership is not used for any, but it is still good if you want to increase charisma for whatever reason, mainly for Mizuki, if there are no better perks. But yeah, and then here we'll use Kana's, well, indirect advantage of having usually low stamina and reason to desperate action a lot more often. Again, in my tips video, I talked about how desperate struggle is your friend. You might not see it as much in easier difficulties, but at the same time, that kind of works in a not a tug of war. What do I want to say? There are two ways of thinking about that. Also, I took Doom because I think I just forgot to do some. Yeah, each item I should have stored my items, but yeah, because most people I'm watching right now, you know, because obviously when you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to get hurt. So when you get hurt low enough, a lot of people just don't remember about Desperate Struggle, and you really should. But obviously, once you learn more about the game, and if you are playing on an easier difficulty, you won't be hitting 3 stamina or reason and below as much on easier difficulties, but unless you know, purposely strategize toward it, but anywho, so we're gonna set the police station to the seaside because we're gonna visit it at least twice, so at least I break even. But if it has a thing, yeah, so on max threat level, the modifier increases to +2 instead of just +1, so it behooves me anyway to do this just to increase my chances of passing stat checks. And also just watching to see if anyone gets, well, you know, people misunderstanding mechanics of the game. But again, I'm not going to put that against anyone. That we were all beginners at one point, so you know. 5 knowledge, 6 charisma. I rolled a 10, didn't matter. But anywho, so I think what I'm gonna, yeah, let's throw these 2 away. And if we're on timeline B, we're on timeline B. We're on timeline A. But actually, let's equip the box cutter right now, and I need to remember to store every item I have before the mystery ends. So we grab a spell. Okay, so now we just become Omega Kana in terms of stamina. Our Doom does increase due to Zektal. Oh my goodness, I don't remember. Azal, my goodness. I said a mix of both of their names. Also, I could die here, but let's use these box cutters first. So I almost get to prep attack. Well, I do. I get 2 attacks guaranteed, but again, that depends on the enemy's power. For those who don't know, your accuracy is mainly influenced by, well, first influenced by your weapon, so 60% chance to hit. But then it's also increased by the number of levels you have over level 1. I think, does level 1 add 1? But let's do some calculations right now. I might as well to kind of at least, if for no one else than myself, to reinforce my knowledge. So 60% accuracy at base for normally attacking. Plus 30% because I'm at level 4, so 1 plus 3. And then, but minus 24 because that's the power level of the enemy. So 60 plus 30 is 90. 90 minus 24 is 76. What? No, maybe it is adding all levels. Okay. Otherwise, I might be missing something. I mean, there are other statuses that can increase or decrease their accuracy, but again, you can kind of see, it says 76, so 24 power, I normally would have 100% chance to hit. And maybe each level does increase your accuracy by 10%, so 4 levels, 40% accuracy, 60 plus 40, 100, 100 minus 24 is 76 here, and that applies to your strong attack as well. And then kick is special in that almost nothing can affect its accuracy, save for very, very specific, I think 1 or 2 status effects. The town effect, Crimson Moon, does not affect kick, which is why I talked about it in the tips video. But anywho, so I would like these box cutters not to break. They may break even though you don't use them at all. So again, I can see how it can be misinterpreted, or people don't understand it, because it is kind of wonky, and a lot of things in this game are wonky, but that's kind of a lot of the jank and or wonkiness that is in World of War right now actually makes the game fun. So we can leave, we leave one fund, but we do want another one, because if we get out of funds, we can flesh regrowth. I guess I'll use it here, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Actually, I don't want to use. Yeah, let's not abuse it. But because you have infinite healing. But I guess I can use it once now just to kind of show. But yeah, we need to get rid of everything we have because Azal will increase our doom elsewise. I don't think so. This means that it's possible. Yeah, there are more rules than shown here, because one of the rules is 1% for each 10 experience you have, and that's before your experience increases by 30, because that does make sense, but at the same time, that means if you're about to level up, you can't rely on getting 30 experience and being like, oh, my doom's actually going to decrease more. That's not what happens. So I think I could have perfectly survived. I just forgot to store my items that one mystery, and then Azal penalized me, but we might still be fine, depending. We'll see. So, yeah, as you can see, my max stamina can definitely increase back to 8. So, yeah. Anywho, and then Final Stretch, for those who don't know, is a perk that shows up if you literally don't have enough perks remaining to fill up this screen. So, unfortunately, for better or worse, Kana can't make use of it as much. But, you know. So, we'll just increase strength again. We'll just take... I forgot completely what's in our lighthouse. I want to say the school was our second encounter, but if I forget to censor school over and over, I mean, I still want to play it safe, but if something really strange happens, I guess we'll find out. Because on a very off-tangent, off-topic thing, talking about things in videos, in this specific case, I wouldn't really agree with someone's channel getting a strike or warning, but ASCII shrug, right? Robots and or people's discretion. But if I were part of a jury, I wouldn't claim guilty. But anywho, what am I doing here? What did I do again? Cape, Akamoto was third. Cape was third. Teacher was first, right? That's why I was talking about thing, but that's not the second mystery. Mermaids was my second then, because yeah, I got the axe then. Really, though, you should just remember your mystery, second mystery and second encounter outright, but if you forget, you can try to work back with logic and do use process of elimination. That being said, it wasn't the Young Witch, because no, it wasn't the Young Witch? No, Young Witch is... I'm mixing it up with the Stalker Girl. Stalker Girl gives you the Occult Diary. Young Witch gives you the Box Cutter, which hasn't broken yet, funny enough. The Gossip Junkie is in the apartments. Did I actually fight that? Because if that's true, then the Gorse-covered student is my second encounter. In any case, again, this run is more than likely... Yeah, I picked Gorse-covered student because I think I fight Gossip Junkie later. And then we fight Takshi-san here, but he's going to eat this box cutter to the face. And no matter what happens, yeah, Takshi-san should just collapse. But I could have also Desperate Action. I was just feeling lazy. Again, there are no stakes to this run. Box cutter finally broke, but hey, we completed a run. So... yeah, let's do one quicker run, and then we will end the video on that. Again, I wanted to do a Zektast run, but there's currently a pretty, not a big bug, but it is substantial enough for it to really hurt me. So I guess we'll just work with a backstory instead. That's kind of interesting. We'll make sure that we're on random timeline-ish. And I have confirmed that timelines are still random through Quick Play. I don't know if they're random through the character select screen. Although I assume it still is because a thing. So, let's do something random. I guess Cthulhu. Just do Cthulhu. So, Commoner, Cthulhu, character exclusive, Kana. That being said, I could have set it to all perks. That could have been interesting too. But It's too late. I'm in this run. So light, second mystery, charisma, Takshisan, dexterity, and knowledge. And we'll move on. No strength, basically, which makes me somewhat sad. However, we are Kana, and we have 6 charisma. That's the bare minimum for what I'm about to do here, which is going to be... I'm going to try to play for ally attack. Cthulhu is essentially a doom increasing god as well, in my mind. But I'm still going to play for allies. Sorry if I made a cut. I had to make a cut because of something. But even though we don't have... eels available because you can't get eels as a mystery with Kana. We're gonna try to play for it. So, the essentials of what you want for ally attack usually are Schoolyard and Illegal Den, in my opinion. But you can do with you don't need Illegal Den, but it definitely does help because otherwise your damage output decreases significantly. But again, if you're playing and you don't have everything unlocked yet, chances are you're playing on Cultist or normal difficulty. So, it doesn't really matter as much anyway. So you can still play with Mizuki with a weapon. So, and that's not going to hurt as much. Scissors, Painting, Vigil, Flood, Botanist. However, if you get Painting, that's another ally that can join you for an ally attack run. However, I wouldn't recommend grabbing Painting first because obviously you can't grab a handful of allies. Same thing with any other mystery that takes you to a location where you don't have access to Illegal Den and or Schoolyard. So Vigil and Scissors definitely out as well. Flood as well. So really all we have is Botanist, and yeah, this is the kind of mystery spread you can get if you, 1, you don't decide to reroll mysteries for whatever reason, and 2, once you have everything unlocked. So I guess we're going into Botanist. And we're gonna employ the strats. However, we might not be able to recruit more than 1. But we will access the rooftop just in case. We might have Timeline B Scissors, but this is mainly to refresh this and see if I can recruit another student, which I do. Unfortunately, none of them increase my reason, and I could do this, but I may... Yeah, because it hurts my strength. That's the one thing that I don't care. Yeah, so let's roll this again. And hopefully we grab another student. We don't. That's unfortunate. But I don't want to spend any more Doom because Illegal Den, grabbing 3 allies from the Illegal Den is going to shoot my Doom up significantly. Also, keeping in mind that since we're not Mizuki, we don't start off with an ally as well. So my damage output right now is really low with ally attack. But again, that's the price I pay. And if I had 5 allies with that extra student, this would be a lot more viable. But I've made my choice. So away we go. I might as well Monument now, but we are Kana, so Kana essentially, I mean, obviously has to be a Doom, a character that loses to Doom, because Kana cannot lose to stamina or reason loss. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll see how good or bad this is. Again, I'm testing things out, although I would have 5 allies. Actually, I didn't need, well, yeah, no, I do still need strength, just in case I want to brace for whatever reason, so... this is Perception, I think, but I have 3 Perception, so I could try to go to Katana Land with 3 Perception. Let's try it out. Instead, though, we are in Frostbite Land, so we're gonna decrease Doom by 5, but also increase it by 5 when we die to -5 stamina. Thankfully, though, you don't go negative, so it's not like I have 7 or 6 stamina now, but I do have Frostbite, so that's not as great. But what else can I do, right? I'm gonna have that for the entire run because I'm gonna be stuck in mysteries from now. Or I won't have access to the doctor's office, and then we die again. But hey. So preferably though, I want to enter. So here again, a lot of battle prep or battle strategy also has some preparation phases. So basically, before you even get into battle, you're already strategizing for battle. And here, this is important because I want to take Painting next and then Flood third. The reason why I want to take Flood third is if you don't take Flood on your 3rd mystery or before on Harbinger, you're gonna start eating upwards of 4 damage. 3, because theoretically, in my mind, you should always be grabbing the Theologist there, but yeah. So we're gonna guarantee this so we at least get 8 damage a turn, and unfortunately we can't do much else. And then we take -3 all for this. Also, ally attack is not affected by Desperate Struggle, so... and I think that's fair because, again, you have characters like Mizuki, or if you get really lucky on allies, you just end up... let me sneeze. You just end up doing so much more damage than what Desperate Struggle can get you normally. But, again, that's situational. Also, keeping that in mind that pretty much, I forgot what the exact ratio was. I wasn't, but every 2.5 or 3 reason, Doom increases by 1. That's Katarufu, basically. But again, that's not the only thing, because otherwise that would be, you know, I could see how people would, even right now, would be like, oh, Katarufu, what's the difference between the old gods? They just add a few rules here or there. And even then, even if that's all Katarufu did, right? We can theory craft right now as well. Even if that's all Katarufu did, the old god still has an indirect more influence than you think because of events and mysteries you can run into. Again, it's everything working as a whole to give you a different experience because, yeah, you might just say, well, all Katarufu does is increase Doom per 3 reason. Well, that also... You know, it depends on you, because then you have to either know or just be aware of reason increasing your Doom, so that might cause you to play differently, but also, objectively, you know, say, we're gonna go into painting next, and in painting, I know that there are ways to decrease Doom, and I know which events can decrease, anything else but reason, so I can avoid more Doom increases. So, based on what mysteries you have, because of the locations and the events in those locations, will give you a different experience, because some locations, just based on how numbers work and what events we have at base, increase more reason than other locations can. So, for example, this one I know, I mean, this is a moderately, generally safe event. I can heal stamina or I can decrease Doom. I'm going to decrease Doom, obviously. But now we have to do a forest investigation, and all painting is just... mansion and forest investigations, pretty much almost an even split, but I think there are a little bit more in mansion investigations. And even without events, then you have enemies that can be doing damage. Again, they all work together and give you a different experience, in my mind. But at the same time, I wouldn't really argue if someone said, oh, gods just do this and this. But because it's not just that, Cthulhu also has their own events, I think. But gods can have their own events, or you could make your own events and add them in. So, hey. Unfortunately, it seems like we're going to take 4% Doom here, but I don't have much of a choice. However, if Totoro suddenly flies closer, then I have to try and brace into something. Unfortunately, that's not what happened, but... Also, I'm rolling low on my ally attacks, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Also, I'm uncommon, I forgot, so I'm not going to be able to level up and increase my charisma, so I shouldn't have actually done ally attack, but that's me forgetting I was uncommoner. But anywho, yeah, so I think painting is just 2 forest investigations? Or was it 3? I can't remember. Anywho. Either way, a lot of painting is mansion investigations, and here, yeah, so the Pillar Vampire is a 2-reason enemy, so my Doom is going to increase if I fight this, but I pretty much have to fight this regardless, kind of. Actually, no, because when I'm strategizing right here, vampire enemies normally, or usually drain 1 HP per attack they deal to you. I think they have to hit you, so you can try to dodge if you like doing that. But because I know that's going to be ultimately bad for me, I'm going to run. Because I can cut my losses. I lose out an experience, but I'm pretty sure I would have taken a lot more damage than I would have liked. And here, yeah, you saw me go into that shed. That's in, you don't have to keep following Amy. You are afforded, you can still get ending A even though you go into the shed here, there. And in fact, that's kind of the design of painting, is for you to go into that shed. And theoretically... have fuel and or a light source so that you can grab the empty chainsaw. Obviously, I didn't have a light source, so I couldn't do that. And obviously, I cannot fight this encounter. Yeah, I wanted to pick up Amy, but I don't think I would be able to fight this really comfortably. So I'm just going to take the oof hit there. And yeah, that event, again, this is a Cthulhu event. And I think it's one of the only ones, if not the only one. But... the choice is either to recover 1 stamina and lose 3 reason, and therefore increase Doom by 1. or you take the right option but get a curse called Insomnia, in which your reason decreases by 2 at the end of every mystery, which, again, there you can kind of do the math. Unless you have something very specific that somehow allows, again, or you could be Toshiaki. Everything does work together. Again, if I were Toshiaki, or to mention it now, if I were Toshiaki, I would be worrying a lot less, although I would have very different problems to worry about, because Toshiaki normally has, relative to other characters, Kana included, his stats are lower than Kana's in general, so I have to worry about dying to 0 statting, is what I'm calling it. But, anywho. So this is not going to end well, but hey, at least I've made a video on Kana on Harbinger, and yeah, I don't know why I chose to ally attack on Commoner, but hey. It would have helped a lot more if I were on in an all perks run, because then I could have at least maybe used the... No, because I have to spend Doom grabbing allies anyway, so... Being on yeah, I guess that means... Well, obviously for anyone but Mizuki, it's most likely a no-go, but for Mizuki, I'd have to think. But this is a Kana video, so we'll continue talking about Kana. I can talk about Flood a little bit here, so... The Theologist is always the one who grants damage mitigation for you in the boss of Flood. The other two, the Linguist and the Geologist, add an extra point of damage, which can speed up your time to kill for the boss. However, the Theologist is usually more useful because if you're taking less damage, that means you have more turns to deal damage, and therefore usually provides more value overall compared to the damage increasing scientist. But again, that depends on your situation. And specifically, if you have the school, whoever's in the school only requires 2 more investigations, while the village and forest, I think, require 3, maybe 4. But normally, though, your strategy here is to grab the Theologist and rest, because that's usually going to be the most, or maybe 1. Okay, but never mind. 2 investigations, including the first school one you do. So, yeah. And I guess that somewhat makes sense, but anywho, I'm just gonna rest till the end here because there's no doom penalty, and some people might be asking for a doom penalty for resting here. I don't really care either way because you're still, unless the doom cost is like 3, maybe 2 even, I'm still going to rest. I probably could have grabbed another researcher, but they don't increase the damage of your ally attack anyway, so here we are. And before 1.0, the B enemy used to do... Oh, and now I gotta cut artery. I'll complain about that in a bit, but this used to do -2 reason anyway, but I'm assuming because of how double encounters work, I'm just eating 2 reason, so... Okay, so we're gonna die here for sure. We'll defeat the boss, but we'll die. Theoretically, we die before the boss defeats us, but... I don't know how to pronounce the name. Basically, Cthulhu is gonna snap both of us out of existence, so we'll wake up and we're both gonna cease to exist. But before this video ends, yeah, let me complain about cut artery. Cut artery. So there are two. You might be wondering because there's an injury effect called badly bleeding, which I think is also minor. Funny enough, but a minor injury. But they each say -1 stamina each investigation. I think badly bleeding specifically says something like chance to decrease -1 stamina. So the difference is that cut artery will decrease your stamina by 1 each investigation. Therefore, it is a much higher priority injury to get rid of compared to badly bleeding, which you can hope that it doesn't decrease your stamina. But that's me thing. So without further ado, we're gonna die shortly here as soon as we enter the 4th mystery. But and for those who don't know, the game basically checks if you die afterward. Even if you're on sudden death, it won't. You won't lose until you enter. So yeah. Without further ado, though, if you have any requests, I will try to answer them and at least contemplate them. Otherwise, yeah, that'll be the end of the video. I'll be putting out another video, hopefully within, 8 to 12 hours from this video's release, about battling. But until then, please subscribe to the channel if you want to support me long term. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.